This is the Horse Radio Network.
Monday of the Stable Scoop Radio Show, Gypsies and Grants. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
Our sponsors this week are Mill Creek Spreaders and Dr. Rose's Remedies. Shannon Coakley from the Equus Foundation on their $250,000 in grants and scholarships, and the Animal Planet Roar campaign. Jennifer Short tells us about the Festival of Gypsies. Plus, on Tack and Habit, we get all fancy with Boy Oh Boy Bridle Works. Listen in.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They'll bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
And I'm Helena B., and you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Hey, Helena, I found this on Facebook today, and I thought of you. And you're going to laugh when I tell you the title, but this was on pulptastic.com. I don't know what that is, but it's the first time I've ever been there. So it's the 15 things all badass, fearless alpha women do differently from other types of women. Okay, so you got to play along at home, too, so everybody has to play along with this. I'm going to go over the 15 things, and we're going to see how many of them apply to you, because you're pretty badass. So we're going to check on that now. We're going to see exactly how much you are, all right?
All right.
All right, so here we go. The first one, they cultivate a life they actually enjoy living. Well, you have been striving for that for ever since I've known you, so I would give you that one. I would say number one is yours.
Okay.
Didn't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Push themselves to take the class, book the ticket, try the restaurant, understand that life went with. Absolutely.
Yes, this is you. I mean, hands down.
I have no tolerance for the BS.
No, you don't. So that's what I'm saying.
I know. Sometimes it works against me. All right, a lot of times it works against me, but yeah. I'm going to own number one.
Well, there's
for
a
sure.
couple of these that you will not own, so we'll go down the list here.
Okay.
And I know you pretty well.
Okay.
They make their move, and what that means is badass women, whether it's walking up to a stranger and saying hello, putting in an offer on an apartment, you basically don't have any trouble just saying hi and getting the conversation going and, getting it done. Well, your Italianness comes out there. I don't think you have any trouble with that.
I do have trouble with that.
But you don't.
I do.
You're an Ada. You don't have trouble with it at all. I mean,
let me explain.
Okay.
I'm tired of having. I got really tired of having trouble with it, and now I just don't care anymore. So,
well,
there's still.
I think we all get to that point.
No, there's a huge plate of awkward that I have to swallow before I can make the move. It's very, very difficult for me to do it, but living the other way, like being afraid to speak up or say something or, ask for something is worse. So
what a lot of people don't know about me is I'm the same way. When I go out into public and actually have to meet people or do talks or go to Ada and, do all that, I have to put on my game face. I actually have to put on my actor face. But if I go to a dinner, you know this about me. If I go to a dinner and we're in a whole table of strangers and I've never met them before and I don't know anything about the conversation, I won't say much.
Yeah.
Because I just... I feel awkward in those situations. And you're kind of the same way. When you put on your actor face and go to work, you go to work.
If I don't want to the hardest is when, putting on that actor face, it's the hardest is when somebody's at the table with a big mouth and a small mind.
Yeah, and that goes back to a couple of the others we're going to talk about down the line. They don't put themselves down. Now, this one doesn't apply to either one of us. We don't get points for this one, and I'll tell you why. Is radio hosts tend to be self-deprecating to the max. We are harder on ourselves than anybody else.
We are.
Yeah, we number 3's out.
Yeah.
Number 4, they don't need a boyfriend, but they're open to having a partner. This one so applies to you.
Really?
Yes. You want somebody who's going to be your partner, not quote unquote just a boyfriend. You really want somebody that's your partner in life.
Yeah. I'm a team player.
Yeah,
I'm a team player.
And I think that for you especially, this one, and that's the Italianness coming out, I think, too.
That's I don't know what it is. It's
well, the last line
you're
of this is: the bold and fearless woman is, however, excited when she meets a man who understands her, accepts her, respects himself, and is looking in the same direction as she is.
Oh, I know. Oh, that gets me all mushy and romantic.
Buck is that guy right there.
He is. I get all dreamy and gushy and girly and flowery and stuff. I do. It's true. I know.
But, I think this is true of anybody, right? Anybody wants the one who's going to accept her and respect themselves. And, everybody wants that in a partner. They don't always get it, but that's what they want.
They don't always get it. The most important thing I've learned from my relationship with Buck is that the reason it works so well between us is because we both work on ourselves. We both spend a lot of effort looking at where we're good and where we're not so good, and not taking the not so good stuff too personally. Everybody's got crap, right? We just have to work on our crap. And the more you work on your crap, the nicer it is to be around you. So he's always working on his stuff, which makes him very pleasant to be around. And I'm always working on my stuff, which I think makes me pleasant to be around. And, hence the respect. And the gush and the mush and the flowers.
Okay, these are things that badass, fearless alpha women do differently than other types of women. And we have another one here, and I love this one. This one you get a point for sure, is they call people out. They aren't the type of women who will sit silently in front of someone feeling disrespected or violated. And there's two women in my life that are to the nth degree, and it's my wife and you.
Yeah, I know.
And I think Jennifer even more than you. She doesn't have time for that at all.
No, she doesn't.
She will let you know.
She doesn't.
And that leads us to the next one. Jennifer will let you know that she doesn't have time for your crap. And then she'll walk away. And that's when they know when to walk away. And then she walks away.
She has a very good barometer for stupidity. It's just you can't engage on that the playing field of stupidity. You can't.
Some people thrive on that. To thrive on that engagement with the people. They thrive
because they
on
need
that
it.
They need it
because they need that kind of chaos. She doesn't need it. I don't need. We've had plenty of it.
Yes.
We don't need any more of it.
Together in a few instances, not with each other, but with other people when you were working together. So.
And all and her where you guys are down in Florida and just in the horse world, but in the regular world as well. We've seen it, we've experienced it. We don't need to play that game anymore, so we do just walk away.
Yep. This is an interesting one. They expect FaceTime. Witty text sessions can serve as fabulous foreplay in between dates, but spending day after day texting a guy you've never met. Jennifer wouldn't do that in 2 minutes. You really want that FaceTime.
Yeah.
And because the other's just a waste of time. And I think you just don't have the time and you don't want to waste the time.
The worst sin that you can commit in the universe of Helena is to waste my time.
Yes, that is true.
Because time on this earth is finite. Time is finite, and there's a shit ton of things I want to get done. And if you're getting in my way of that, it's going to make me really mad. That said, let's go back to number 7. Know when to walk away.
Right. Here's a good one for you.
You can spot a time waster from pretty far off.
And I think this is true of most horse girls. They don't pretend they're on an episode of The Bachelor. They don't compete for a man's attentions and affections. Are you kidding? No. Yeah, just not going to compete with that. You don't have time. No. Again, goes back to the time thing, right? Time for that. Yep.
They don't have time for that, and they're happy. They're fulfilled with something they're very passionate about. You're either going to jump on that boat and go for the ride, or but that boat is still sailing.
Number 12 and 13, I'm going to put together. They see themselves as an investment, and they don't play the victim. I think those two kind of go together, right? They take pride in themselves, from their work ethic to reputations to, a handshake means something. And with Jennifer, she never lies. She just never lies. And, if she's going to make a handshake with you, she's going to do it. If it just about kills her, she's going to do it. So, and that goes along with not playing the victim. You don't have time. You don't have time. Again, it comes back to the time thing. You don't have time to play the victim because
sometimes I play the victim to Buck.
Yeah, well,
I do.
I think sometimes you do that to your spouse. I really do.
I do. Well, I'm like, wah, my router died. Wah, my life is crazy. Wah, wah, wah. And he's so good. He's like,
why is he still around, by the way? I'm just curious.
He's like, it's horrible. Here, let me give you a kiss. I'll make it all better. And you know what? It does.
You know what? Buck gets away with things I've never seen people get away with you. I gotta say. Must be love because he gets away with crap that I've never seen anybody else get away with. And this last one I really think is important, is really appropriate, is they would never put their lives on hold to accommodate someone else's idea of who they should be. I think that in one case, we won't go into it, you did for a while, but you ended that and you went on. And I think that that's true of the of the badass women, is they're going to go, okay, I'm done with this, I'm moving on. But they don't spend a lot of time just looking back either.
No, you sure do know me. I'm a little stunned, pleasantly surprised.
I've known you for a very long time.
I know. You're spot on, dude.
Yeah, well, and this relates to almost everybody in our audience because I think horsewomen tend to have to be a stronger, more badass kind of group, more alpha women. So
we do if we want to stay alive. Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's why this kind of I thought related to our show. That was from pulptastic.com.
We've had to just quickly going back to the horsewoman thing. We have to prioritize things simply because of the size and the nature of the animals that we work with. We have to prioritize things to life
and the danger too. I mean, let's not overlook that.
That's what I mean. Yeah. You need to decide is it worth my safety? Is it worth my money? And is it worth my time? All of these things you deal with on a regular basis, several times a day when you have horses. And you can't help, but it becomes so much a part of your second nature of your decision-making, your innate decision-making, that it just carries over into the rest of your life. So we are good at prioritizing what's important, including our own happiness.
There you go. I'll put a link to that in our show notes as well, as if you want to go check it out. Well, let's take a break for Dr. Rose's remedies, and then we're coming back with Jennifer Short. And this was a recommendation by one of our listeners, and it is called the Festival of Gypsies. It's in California. We're going to learn all about it. And I think it means horses, not the people, or it might mean both. I don't know. Dr. Rose's Remedies Skin Treatment Salve and Spray are 100% all-natural products. They are anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. Dr. Rose's are made with all human-grade ingredients and are safe and effective for treatment for all manner of cuts and scrapes on your horse. And Dr. Rose's is the must-have product here at the Horse Radio Network headquarters to keep PT Scooter's delicate white pasterns free from dew poisoning and scratches. Ask for Dr. Rose's at your local tack store or feed supplier, or visit them online at drrosesremedies.com. That's drrosesremedies.com. Well, hi, Jennifer. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, as I said in the intro, a listener recommended that we contact you. I think they knew about your Festival of Gypsies. Tell us, what is a Festival of Gypsies? Now, I am picturing, is this horse gypsies or gypsies or both?
Well, actually, this is a little bit of both. We are going to try to show the gypsy people with the gypsy horses, obviously, being the gypsy owners here in America. We're going to have a full breed horse show with celebrating the gypsies with a big festival dinner on Saturday night.
Now, I saw pictures too. Do you do a parade?
We're actually having a parade of sell horses. In Appleby, they have a big sell called Appleby, where they do like their own festival in England. So we're having a Appleby sell barn, and we're going to have a parade of sell horses.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's
wow.
cool. We love fells.
So
I
where,
love gypsies, too, for that matter.
If you
Where's
want to
it gonna
buy a
be held?
gypsy, come on down. This is in Corning, California, at the Rolling Hills Casino Equestrian Center.
Is it actually at a casino?
It is.
Really?
awesome.
Exactly at a casino. Yeah, so there's something for everybody to do. At this casino, they also have hunting, they have fishing, they have fly fishing, they have a golf course, they have skeet shooting ranges, they have arcades for kids. I mean, this is not just a horse show. This is a full family vacation.
Oh, wow, Helena. You take your husband and dump him at the casino, and you're good to go for the rest of the time.
Yeah, so those show husbands who don't normally like to go to the shows with their wives, they're going to go to this one.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool. So tell us what you do at a festival of gypsies. Other than,
Well,
by the way, how
starting.
many grooming products must you have at a festival of gypsies? About 1,000 bottles,
Oh.
right?
Oh, yes, let me tell you, yes, and that's per horse. And I have one ranch alone bringing in 15 horses.
Oh, wow.
Those poor people bring a whole crew to just work on their horses. It normally takes about 2+ hours to bathe a gypsy. So you have
boy.
to, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I'm out.
I could totally get into that. That's like therapeutic. That
Yes,
feels
it
good to
is.
me. Yeah.
Until you have to do
Tails,
14.
expressions. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right. So what kind of classes do you have?
So we've got all the basic classes, the walk, trot, Western, walk, trot, canter, English. We've got all the basic classes, some trail opportunity classes. And then Saturday night, we have the fun classes. With those classes, we're having musical freestyles. We're having a full costume class. We're actually going to have, the Liberty classes, and that's where they just let the horses loose and let them run in the arena and buck and kick and get the crowd going to music. And also in our musical freestyle class, we're going to have a pretty famous horse. There's a Breyer named Taskin, and he's a limited edition Breyer, and he will be in our musical freestyle.
Wow.
The actual horse, not the Breyer.
The actual horse will be in the
good.
musical freestyle.
Breyers don't move much. That's why.
No,
I
they
didn't know
don't. I mean, no.
So that's terrific. And I see here that you're also doing a medieval attired costume dinner.
Yes. So Saturday night show, the whole dinner is either gypsy or medieval themed. We're encouraging the whole public to come in costume. Got a lot of people coming, from the public. There's 22 vendors, so there's going to be lots of shopping. You can buy your costume right there. And we're hoping that the whole families show up in costume and just have a good time. The feast is going to be in a medieval, style. It's all going to be there. We do encourage utensils, though.
Oh, you wimp.
This is really cool.
I know.
Grace would love to go to this. I would love to go to this. Between the costumes, they have pictures of the hotel up on their Facebook page, which just looks so inviting and ethereal. What a perfectly themed event. Do you get a lot of young ladies who just have sparkles in their eyes when they show up?
Here's the thing with this horse is they're not only a fantasy horse to start with, but everybody wants to be a princess. When you have this horse, you already feel when you're out on it and people are smiling and waving at you that you're a princess. So, yes, we have a lot of girls show up and they love to go all out with their costumes.
They're like the supermodel. Gypsies are like the supermodels of the horse world. Aren't
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they really are.
They are.
And I had
and they know it. They do know it.
yeah, they kind of prance. I owned an acting company for 10 years. We did medieval feasts, and it's too bad you guys aren't on the East Coast. I'd get my costume out. I played a king for 10 years. I could come out. It'd be fun.
That would be wonderful. Well, let me tell you, we're going to also do this next year, and our theme next year is we're having a masquerade ball.
Oh, that's
so maybe you guys ought to think about it.
That's really cool. And this happens this Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yes. So classes start at 9 a.m. this Saturday. They'll go until the last class is done, and then we'll have a break until the evening classes, which is the fun classes and the dinner. That'll start at 6 p.m. And then we'll continue again the next day at 9 a.m. until probably around 6.
And they're having driving, Helena. I'm a driver, so I always look for that. And
Oh, are you?
That's good.
Yeah. Oh, and those. Let me tell you, the Gypsies do it right.
well, and actually, that's what the Gypsies, they rode, they actually drove the horses, the actual Gypsies over in England and stuff. They actually drove the horses more than they rode them. They used them as transportation.
Yes, they
you know?
did.
Yeah.
So what they did is, they built the horses' bodies. They bred for a certain body that can not only pull a big, huge family, living wagon, but they had to pull them for quite some distances. So they do have some stamina for being how big they are. And then on top of it, they wanted their own color so that the horses didn't get stolen. They knew their own, they knew their own stuff.
Yeah.
And then, afterwards, the kids are the ones that had to take care of the horses. So they would have to be gentle and quiet while the kids got on them and rode them and fed them and played with them and stuff. So these are big, gentle giants.
Very cool. Where do people find out more if they're in the area?
If they're in the area, go to festivalofthegypsies.com.
Festivalofthegypsies.com. And what part of California is this again?
Corning, California. We are Northern California.
Okay, so you're in
This will be the
California.
first time ever on this side of Sacramento.
And you're not near the fires, I assume?
Oh, thankfully, no.
Okay.
And we're actually clear skies. There's no smoke in the air. We actually got some good rain, and it really helped out the fires.
Oh, great.
Excellent.
Okay, terrific. Well, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Festivalofthegypsies.com.
Thank
Find them on
you,
Facebook
guys.
too.
Yes, find us on Facebook.
So you've been thinking about getting a manure spreader? Well, here's why I think you should consider Mill Creek. They've been in business for almost 30 years with continuously improved designs to meet the needs of horse owners like you. At Mill Creek, models are virtually maintenance and trouble-free thanks to their exclusive sealed bearings. They're the only compact spreaders you'll find like that. Mill Creek customer service is second to none. Call them and you'll reach a knowledgeable person in their own factory right in Pennsylvania. With 8 models available, they're happy to help you choose the right spreader for your budget and barn. 5 models can be pulled with ATV or garden tractors. If you'd rather have a PTO drive, they've got those too. At Mill Creek, spreaders have the lowest sides and tongue weight of any on the market. One of the biggest problems we always had with our spreaders is they just rust. Everything rusts out, and then you have to replace the metal, and it's just a pain. If you don't want to ever have to worry about your manure spreader rusting again, then consider the Mill Creek stainless steel line. They are the world's first and only compact manure spreaders built out of stainless steel, and they're warranted against rust-through for life. Julie Goodnight, clinician and star of Horsemaster with Julie Goodnight on RFD TV, has owned and used a Mill Creek spreader every day for over 9 years. She knows they represent great value and quality and is proud to endorse them. So for the best compact manure spreading equipment you can buy, check out Mill Creek's lineup. Years of trouble-free operation will get you out of the barn faster and give you more time for your horses. Give them a call today at 800-311-1323 or visit their website at millcreekspreaders.com. The perfect holiday gift. Well, and don't forget, Mill Creek Spreaders has a sweepstakes going on right now. It's to win one of their stainless steel I think it's a 4-horse spreader, and it's this is a big prize. You win this thing, and it is worth something. So head on over to their website at millcreekspreaders.com. There's a big banner at the top of the page where you can go and enter the sweepstakes. I did. I don't even know if I'm allowed to win, and I entered anyway.
I see a spot on that list for you too. Make your
right.
move.
I'm making my move. Being assertive. Being assertive. Well, next we're going to head over to the Equus Foundation. Shannon Coakley from the Equus Foundation is going to chat with us about a number of things going on over there. I don't know that we've ever talked about the Equus Foundation, but they're a terrific organization doing good work for everybody that's a charity in the horse world. So let's take a listen. Hi, Shannon. Welcome to the Stable Scoop Show.
Thanks so much. We're so happy to be here.
Well, we've known about the Equus Foundation for a long time, but I don't know why, but we've never talked to you before. So tell us a little bit about what the Equus Foundation is.
So the Equus Foundation was founded back in 2002, so about 12 years old, in Connecticut. And our mission is to ensure the quality of life of horses and to foster the bond between horses and people. We like to market our tagline is helping horses, healing people. That kind of sums it up for us.
And to do that, you actually go out and raise money, right? Is that and then help?
Absolutely.
What do you guys end up doing in the end?
So we are able to fulfill our mission primarily by providing financial support through grants or resources to horse rescues as well as equine therapy organizations across the United States. Maybe some of them are listeners of the show.
Yeah, I'm sure, a lot of them are. We hear from them all the time. So.
Great. And we are up to over 900 equine organizations that we serve across the United States now, which is a huge growth from just serving a couple of charities, locally in Connecticut.
You have quite a few programs that help support these 900 or so organizations. Tell us about the programs that you offer. I'm looking at the list here, and it's everything from grants to partners to research fellowships and alliances. Tell us about those.
Sure. Well, we do have quite a few programs, so I won't go into detail on all of them, but we can provide you with more information, via our website if listeners are interested in learning more. Yeah. But one program that I can mention now is what we call our Champions program. It's a volunteer-based program where people across the United States can volunteer at horse rescues or equine therapy organizations and build up and track their hours through our system and achieve different levels of different status levels. So the champion level means that they've achieved a certain amount of hours of service and they are recognized as a champion, and that program is actually sponsored by Ariat International, and Ariat then provides through a drawing some of those champions with gift cards for new boots and things like that. So that's a really great program to get people involved and get more volunteers into these organizations, which a lot from our conversations with them, getting more people there and to help them is really important. And also with that, we have an element of that program is where a volunteer can actually win a grant for the organization that they volunteer at. So after a certain amount of hours and after they're selected, they then we provide a check directly to that organization that they served.
That's a great idea, acknowledging and really, bringing to the forefront the volunteer. I think that's terrific.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah. Most of these organizations that we support, they're looking for some financial support for the most part. Like I said before, getting more people just to help run their programs on a volunteer basis is really essential.
Oh, they live or die by volunteers. They can't operate without them.
They're very
and there's never enough. There's never enough money, and there's never enough volunteers. So
exactly,
it's just recruit a little bit of both or a lot of both.
Absolutely.
And you guys just, I saw a press release too, where you just did $250,000 worth of grants and scholarships to equine therapy groups.
Yeah, so earlier this month, we announced after the end of our fiscal year that we are proudly providing over $250,000 in grants and scholarships in 2015. And, really our challenge is that we'd love to help all equine organizations in need, but what we make sure of is that the charities that are receiving our financial support are operating at the very highest standards when it comes to how they care for and use their horses. The welfare of the horse is at the utmost and
I think that's
important
to note here because we get contacted all the time wanting, especially rescues, to come on the show, and we have no way of verifying whether they're legitimate or we just don't know anything about them, so we're very leery about that. But I tell you what I do is I take a look, and if I know that they have gotten a grant from you guys, I'm good with it. Because I know you guys do your homework. You're not just bringing in anybody who calls themselves a charity and really aren't either.
That's exactly right. I mean, we have a very extensive process, application process for grants, as well as an evaluating process. And it's all, the most essential part of it is that we ask these organizations to be transparent and accountable about and publicly disclose their horse care and use practices. So if you go take a look at our equine welfare network and the organizations that have publicly disclosed their practices are what we call messengers. You can take a look at what these organizations, how they take care of their horses and how they use their horses. But it's definitely good to take a look at the ones that are receiving the grants because they've been rewarded these grants because they are really operating at the highest standards.
I like that.
Yeah, that's very good.
Standards, because there's all kinds of rescues out there and charitable organizations for horses, but sometimes some of them are lacking in the actual charity part.
Right.
Yes, that can definitely happen. And also, what we find is that a lot of times, in not a negative way at all, in a great way, these organizations are born from passion. That people that just really love horses or want to help, people with special needs or that sort of thing, and they don't necessarily have the business background to run it as a business, which it should be. So we try to provide these organizations with some of the, kind of the cream of the crop, the model organizations that are really doing it exactly how it should be done. And we provide that information to them. And we've seen a lot of growth with over the years with some organizations that have really learned a lot from these other organizations. So it's been great.
And I'm looking at your list here of the ones who, received dollars this year, and a lot of them we've talked to, a lot of them our listeners would recognize the names of. So good on that. And then one more thing before we let you go, and that's something that's just been announced, and I don't know what it is. It's the Animal Planet Roar campaign.
The Equus Foundation is one of 7 Animal Planet charitable partners, and most importantly, the only horse charity. And so they are offering $100,000 in matching gift funds as well as $20,000 in bonuses. So basically, our challenge is to prove to Animal Planet that horses have the loudest roar out of all these organizations. So we are calling all the horse lovers out there listening and asking for their help to vote for the Equus Foundation. You can vote once a day, every day through October 12th. The link is www.equusfoundation.org/roar, ROAR. And yesterday I actually checked. We were leading the fan favorite poll at 92%, which was incredible. But then when I checked this morning, we were down to 77%. So there's some organizations.
Who's catching up? The dogs?
It's a wildlife. David Shepard, I think. So they're catching up. But so we really need everyone to vote once a day, every day through October 12th. And tell your friends, tell your family to vote too, and check out what we're doing on Facebook and Twitter, and help us share.
Come on, horse people, we have to beat the lions and tigers.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
They have a bigger roar, but we can vote more.
Yes, absolutely. We appreciate all.
And
all the help.
those dog charities aren't they? They're going to be out there recruiting everybody to vote. So we gotta get on this.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. We appreciate it all. Thank you so much.
Well, and this will be a big help too. Obviously this money goes into you and then out to others. So, that's why you're doing it. And it also gives the horses a voice over on Animal Planet.
It absolutely does. They don't have that loud of a voice over there. So, really helping us in this campaign, like you were saying, helps horses everywhere and really goes right back to these wonderful animals that have done so much for us. And this is our opportunity to do something for them.
Very good. And you can find all of that at equusfoundation.org. Thank you so much for joining us today, Shannon. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
This Tack and Habit segment is sponsored by
Sparkle and Boom, websites for horse people. You can find us online at sparkleandboom.com. Actually, we do websites for everybody, but we have a particular expertise in the equestrian business. So find us online at sparkleandboom.com and see what we can offer you.
Well, for today's product, we have some recording we did at Ada. We got a lot of these to go yet. And this is Boy Oh Boy Bridal Works. Now, did you get one of the Boy Oh Boy belts, Helena?
No, I'm sadly I did not.
You did not?
I really like them.
Oh, well, Christmas is coming. You never
I
know.
know.
You never know.
Ho, ho, ho.
So Jennifer and I had a chance. Jennifer did get one of the Boy Oh Boy belts, and she loves this thing. She wears it all the time. This is her favorite belt, I think, that she's ever owned. And let's take a listen and learn how Boy Oh Boy got started, because it's more than just belts. But let's take a listen. Hey, Glenn here, and I am with Coach Jen, and we are at the American Equestrian Trade Association in Philadelphia with a product highlight.
Woohoo!
And one of the first ones we met, because Jennifer had a pair
had a
of pants
problem.
on, and she had an
Yeah.
issue.
I was having a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, she was. She forgot her belt, and she had these pants on that weren't staying up real good. She was kind of looking like she should be in the hood.
Yeah.
So one of the first people we met was Boy Oh Boy Bridal Works, and we have Amanda here with us from Boy Oh Boy Bridal Works, and you fixed her up.
I set her up, yeah, with one of my belts.
You did. Tell us about your line of belts and brow bands.
Yeah, well, actually, the belts came out of the brow bands. My mother used to live in Ireland, and I'm a show jumping girl myself. I grew up going to horse shows, and when my mom moved to Ireland, I used to go to every horse show I could. And I always loved the ribbon brow bands that they use there, not just on polo ponies like they do in the States, but on ponies and draft horses and stuff. And like I say, I ride jumpers, and I got a great little, very pony-like jumper called Boy Oh Boy, and I wanted to get him one of these pony ribbon brow bands, but I couldn't find them in stores anyplace, and I had a hard time finding them in Ireland. And it turns out that a lot of times kids learn to make them in Pony Club there, so I learned how to make them myself, and I made him a bunch of brow bands. And at horse shows, people would always say, "Oh, I love those brow bands. You know, I've seen them in England and Ireland, but I don't know where to get them. Where do you get them?" And I said, "Well, I don't really know where to get them, but I'll make you one." And so I ended up making them for a lot of other people. And then at Christmas, about 2 years ago, I made them matching belts for my friends. And then I started getting calls from other people, you know, do you wholesale? How much are they? Do you have a website? And I was...
It's like I'm sewing these in my basement.
Yeah, basically, in my dining room. And I said, well, I don't have a website, but I have a sewing machine. And so I'm actually a trained historian, and that was my day job at the time. And I found out I had gotten Lyme disease, and so I wasn't feeling really up to sitting down.
Because I'm a chronic Lyme disease
Are you really?
also.
Yeah, me too. And I don't know about in your case, but I had gotten to the point where I was starting to forget words,
Yep.
which is not good if
I
you're
still do.
a writer.
Word salad is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer
And,
knows. She has to tell me what they are all the time.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't know it from talking to you.
Well,
on the
yeah, I
radio.
still battle with it. It's been 15 years.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's not. Don't get it.
Not
if you
fun.
can
No,
avoid
Don't
yeah.
it.
get it. No. Use the bug repellent,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Do tick checks and stuff. But so I wasn't really feeling up to writing another book, and my husband was kind enough to give me a bridal making course. So I went to England and learned
Really?
how to
Oh,
make
cool.
bridals.
I didn't know there was such a
That's
thing
a
as
thing.
a bridal
Yeah, that's
making
really
course.
neat.
Yeah, it's
How
really
fascinating.
cool. And so I went to England, learned how to make bridals, and then people kept asking me if I would make the brow bands and the belts and stuff, and so I thought, well, I'll give this a try. And
make it a business.
Yeah, there you go.
So tell us about the belts. What are they made of?
The belts, well, there are a couple of different types of belts. One of the belts has double loops at one end that you feed the belt through.
It
and
works like what
with
other kind of?
tension, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tension, but it's not a buckle with a hole in it.
Right,
So you don't ever have to put a hole in your belt. It fits no matter what size you are.
Yeah, it's
Great for Thanksgiving.
Exactly, yeah, and it's got the same weave pattern as some of the brow bands, so it's got a very equestrian look to it, and comes in a bunch of different colors. And some people buy them to match their brow bands if they're, for their cross country colors, or to match their racing silks, or their,
that'd be
They
a good
kind of
idea.
remind me of racing silks.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
colors, they're very
Yeah.
vibrant.
Yeah.
And it's two-sided.
And in diamonds or...
That one is two-sided,
Yeah.
and so a lot of people use them, like I say, to ride cross country, or if you're riding outside and it gets wet, it doesn't really matter because. They're very good quality ribbons, but they're actually made out of polyester, so that it doesn't matter if they get
They're
wet, they
washable
won't
or-
stretch, they won't.
Yeah.
They won't bleed all over your clothes.
But you have very nice leather finishes on them, and I can tell that this is not an amateur that has sewn this, by the way.
No, it's not.
And very
sewn
high
by
quality,
me.
very high quality stainless.
Yep.
Yep, and
Yeah.
it's all American materials. I thought that would be really important, that I wanted it to be made in the States with American materials. And so everything's sourced here. And I make it
Jennifer's
myself.
sporting hers right now. She has a
Looking
baby
very
blue,
elegant.
blue, and black one, and
Yeah,
it's in
she
a
has
diamond pattern.
Yeah, she has the elite model.
Ooh,
I'm elite.
you're
I'm not elite
special.
too often.
Yeah, she has the stirrup buckle belt. Which,
that impressed me. It's a traditional buckle style belt in that it has a buckle versus the little tension loops on it. It's a real stirrup leather buckle.
Yep.
It's really a stirrup leather buckle. It's
Yeah.
not one that
Yeah.
made to look like a stirrup leather buckle.
Yep, it's.
I just thought that was so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I use all equestrian hardware. And I wanted it to be, a real equestrian line with equestrian stuff.
Now, mine has a leather tab where the holes go. So you're not putting holes in ribbon that could possibly fray.
Nope.
So it's very durable. Now, the inside, it's the colored ribbon pattern on the exterior. The interior is leather.
Is leather, yeah.
Yes.
It's made out of the same leather that you would make a pair of chaps out of.
It's very fine and soft on the inside.
Yeah, it doesn't have any stiffness to it, so it's
No.
actually pretty comfortable.
Because a lot of times you buy a leather belt, it's thick and kind of feels clunky, especially on your riding breeches that have stretchy belt loops.
Yeah.
A leather belt feels too thick and clunky and doesn't want to sit in there nicely. Even though it's leather on the inside and very durable, it's a very soft belt. I
Oh,
really
I'm glad,
like that.
I'm glad you like it.
It's very
I make
soft.
dog collars too in the same way,
Mhm.
and they're they're durable and stuff, but they don't chafe the dogs' necks. And
Now, could you do these? Emily Thompson, who does our jumping show once a month, has S Equestrian, and they do riding shirts, very nice riding shirts, where they put colleges' logos on the inside, so when the collar's open, you see them. Could you do these custom for riding teams and colleges?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, what's the
colors
limit
and-
to the colors you
Yeah.
can use? Is there a limit?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Sometimes actually, I show people my color cards, and there are literally hundreds of different individual colors. And then when you mix them up and put them together, I mean, there are, I think, probably millions of possible combinations. And then there are different patterns I can weave them into. And so, I mean, there are millions and millions.
So
So
of
you
possible
could do a
combinations.
collegiate team's colors and for
and
the
in
whole
fact,
team. Or,
I've done a couple of show jumping team colors, and just a couple of weeks ago, I did one of the young riders show jumping team belts.
oh,
in
tell us
Kentucky.
about that. They were the ones that won, weren't
They
they?
won, yeah. They
Was
won the
it
gold
Area
medal.
3?
It was USCF Zone 3.
Zone
for the
3,
show
yep,
jumping
yep.
kids. And
Yeah.
and so
It was
Jacob-
all because of the belts, I'm sure.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
a little bit because of the belts. But yeah, people tell me that they're lucky. I've done them for a couple of show jumping teams, and and so the kids who wore them actually won the gold medal, which was really
Yay!
exciting. And actually a horse that I did the brow bands for was Timber Horse of the Year last year, a horse called Hot Rise who lives in Middleburg. So I did belts and brow bands for the syndicate that owns him. And now all of those horses out of his barn wear the same brow band.
Oh, cool.
And it's fun because, you follow them and you're like, that's my horse.
Yeah. It's a great team building or brand building
Yeah.
product too. You were talking about the recognizability of these brow bands at horse show grounds for folks who have a lot of sale horses. You get your custom brow bands in your barn colors. It's easy for potential customers to spot your horse.
Yeah, I've had a lot of trainers say that to me, that, if a groom is leading a horse up to the ring and somebody's interested in the horse and they see the brow band, they'll say, I knew it was your horse because it
Right.
had your brow band and your colors on
Easy
him.
to see because it's sometimes difficult to recognize the rider. What number was the rider? Is that so and so? Everybody looks the same once they get their helmet on, kind of thing. So I think it's a really lovely brand building product as well for racing teams, for show jumpers, and even for people
Especially
in the
for
eventing
racing
business.
teams, because
Yeah.
they kind of look silky,
and
silks anyway.
And you make
Yeah.
this really cute little. What do you call it? Is that a V brow band?
Yeah, there's a V brow band also. They're, straight traditional brow bands, but there's also a V brow band.
I think the dressage riders are going to go crazy for the Vs.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope so.
Well, you actually did build a website that people can go to now because you made it into a business, and it is bridalworks.com.
Boy, oh boy.
bridalworks.com. And you can find all the information there. We'll put a link to it in our show notes as well. Thank you so much for stopping
Thank
by,
you
Amanda. We
very
appreciate
much.
you being
Yeah,
here.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So that's it for today's show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate it. You can find Helena at
sparkleandboom.com. I'm busy working my butt off building sites. Sparkleandboom.com. You can send me an email, helena@sparkleandboom.com. And of course, you can always find me at the Horse Radio Network.
Very good. And of course, you can find all the shows at the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. Get our app. You can find it in the App Store and just go to the iOS or Android App Store and search for Horse Radio Network. It's free and it's easy. It's simple to download. You can do that today. And don't forget that on the 30th of September, Horses in the Morning will be live from, by the way, that's International Podcasting Day, the 30th of September. I know. I didn't know there was one either, Helena, but now I do. On International Podcasting Day, September 30th, we're going to be coming to you live. Wendy and I are going to be live from Disney World.
Yay!
We're going to be at the stables at Disney World at Fort Wilderness, and we're going to go the day before, and we're going to take the trail ride on Disney horses. I'm going to ride. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'm going to sit on. I figured if I can't ride a Disney horse, I can't ride a horse. So I'm going to ride a Disney horse because they're magical. And then that night, we're going to do a carriage ride. And then the next morning, we're going to go live. We're going to learn all about the horses at Disney. And that's all coming up on Horses in the Morning in a couple of weeks. And that's it for today, Helena.
That's plenty, but there's going to be more next week. Until then, happy scooping.